Hey, listener name, ever toss a plastic bottle in the recycling bin and wonder, like, is it really going to get a second life?
It's the thought that counts, right?
Right. But today's deep dive is all about tackling that head on, but with a twist. We're digging into plant fiber packaging.
This stuff is buzzworthy.
Totally. It claims to be the eco-warrior of the packaging world, but we're going to see about that.
And we've got the receipts, research on how traditional plastics are impacting the environment, marketing around plant fiber as like the sustainable solution, and even feedback from early adopters so we can see if it lives up to the hype.
Love it. Okay, so first things first. What exactly is plant fiber? I mean, it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but...
Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. 100% plant-based material designed to replace those pesky plastics we all love to hate. And the key here is they're going for a completely plastic-free approach, which is a big deal.
Right, because we've all seen those eco-friendly alternatives that still have some plastic hiding in there somewhere, so this is different.
Totally. A lot of brands are trying to make their packaging more sustainable, but plant fiber is like, they're aiming to be truly eco-friendly from the start.
Okay, so it's about a fundamental shift in thinking, not just a quick fix.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is this isn't just some niche material for like, you know, fancy organic cotton swabs or something. We're talking everything from those trendy lip balm tubes to food containers and even flower pots.
A lot of flower pots.
Yeah.
Plant fiber is that versatile.
You're catching on. And that versatility is key to its potential. But before we get into specifics, let's address the elephant in the room.
Go for it.
Traditional plastic packaging.
Yeah.
It's an environmental nightmare, right? Landfills overflowing, oceans choked with plastic. It's not pretty.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where you almost expect to see a plastic bottle tumbleweed rolling down the street. So how is plant fiber tackling this? I mean, is it just biodegradable or is there more to it?
It's about more than just breaking down. It's about a complete life cycle shift. But before we get into that, I'm curious, when you hear completely plastic-free, does that like resonate with you as a consumer? Is that a deal maker or is it just savvy marketing?
Honestly, it's both. I appreciate the transparency, but I'm also wary of greenwashing. Like, how much of this is genuine concern versus jumping on the eco bandwagon? But I've got to admit, knowing something is truly plastic-free makes me feel a bit better about my choices as a consumer.
No, you're spot on. It's both a response to genuine consumer demand and a clever marketing tactic. Younger generations especially, they're demanding transparency, authenticity.
They're doing their research.
Exactly. They want to align their values with their purchases. And brands are noticing.
So it's like choosing a restaurant. You might be drawn in by the cool decor and menu, but you're ultimately swayed by the food quality and their ethics. Right.
Precisely. And this is where those specific examples you mentioned, the lip balm tubes, the cups, become really interesting. We're seeing a shift where sustainability is being positioned as a premium experience, not a compromise.
So we're talking plant fiber being positioned as this like premium desirable material, not just an eco-friendly alternative. But how does that actually play out in the real world? Like, what are we seeing from brands using it? Well,
we're seeing brands really tap into that sensory experience of plant fiber. Like, for example, one beauty brand packaging their lip balms in plant fiber tubes, they actually highlight the gentle touch and earthy aroma of the material right on their website.
It's interesting because it's not just about the product anymore, it's about that entire experience.
Totally.
It's like they're saying, hey, this feels good and it's good for the planet, which, honestly, I'm here for it.
Right. And it's working. We're seeing a similar thing with those plant fiber cups. Consumers aren't just talking about them being eco-friendly, they're describing that unique texture, the way it feels in their hand. Like one person even said it makes their morning coffee feel more grounded.
Okay, that's fascinating. Is it tapping into that whole like mindfulness and connection to nature thing that's so big right now? But I'm curious, is this whole plant fiber thing just a trend or does it have real staying power?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And to answer that, we need to look beyond just lip balm tubes and coffee cups.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
While those are great, entry points, the potential for plant fiber extends to industries with, honestly, a far greater environmental impact.
Okay, give me the good stuff. What else can we use plant fiber for?
Let's take the food industry, for example. Packaging for produce, meat, dairy, it's a massive source of plastic waste. You know those flimsy clamshells for berries, the plastic-wrapped cucumbers. It's enough to make anyone want to swear off grocery shopping.
Ugh, don't even get me started on those berry containers.
Yep.
I feel like I always end up with more raspberries on the checkout counter than in the actual container.
Right. Now imagine those same products, but packaged in, like, biodegradable, compostable plant fiber containers.
Okay, yeah.
No more guilt-inducing plastic waste.
That makes sense for produce, but what about things that need to be waterproof or have a longer shelf life? Surely plant fiber can't replace everything.
You're right, it's not a magic bullet, and that's where the real innovation comes in. Researchers are developing new bio-based polymers and coatings that can, enhance plant fiber.
Okay, interesting.
Make it suitable for a wider range of applications.
So it's about pushing the boundaries of what this material can do, not just swapping out one type of packaging for another.
Exactly. For example, did you know scientists are exploring the use of plant fiber derivatives in medical implants?
Wait, really? What kind of implants are we talking?
Imagine a world where bone plates or screws are made from a biocompatible plant fiber material that naturally degrades over time.
Wow.
Eliminating the need for additional surgeries to remove them.
Wow. I never even considered that. That's incredible. Okay, so we're not just talking about revolutionizing how we package products, but potentially transforming the very materials we use to create them.
Precisely. This is about rethinking our entire approach to manufacturing and consumption. Instead of that current linear model of take, make, dispose, we're moving towards a more circular economy.
Okay, I've heard that term thrown around a lot, but what does circular economy actually mean in this context?
It means designing products and materials with their entire life cycle in mind. So, in a circular economy, materials are designed to be reused, repaired, or biodegrade back into the environment, minimizing waste and reducing our reliance on finite resources.
So it's about creating a closed loop where waste is minimized and resources are used more sustainably. That sounds ideal, but how does plant fiber fit into that bigger picture?
Plant fiber kind of embodies this shift. It's a renewable resource that can be grown and replenished, unlike traditional plastics, which, are derived from fossil fuels. And with advancements in biodegradability and composting, plant fiber has the potential to completely disappear after use, leaving behind no harmful residues.
That's amazing. But let's be real for a second. Is this really scalable? Can we actually transition to a system where plant-based materials like plant fiber are the norm, not the exception?
It's a huge undertaking, no doubt. But I'm cautiously optimistic, and a big part of that optimism stems from that shifting consumer landscape we were talking about earlier.
So you're saying consumer demand for sustainable options is actually powerful enough to drive real change in manufacturing and industry practices? I'll admit, I'm a little skeptical, but also hopeful.
It's not just wishful thinking. We're already seeing it happen. Remember that statistic we talked about earlier, how a good chunk of consumers are willing to pay more for sustainable products?
Yeah, that was a bit of an aha moment for me. I knew sustainability was trendy, but I didn't realize it was actually impacting people's wallets.
Exactly. That's real economic power. As more consumers vote with their dollars, companies have no choice but to listen. They're seeing that investing in sustainable materials and practices isn't just good for the planet, it's good for business.
So it's a win-win situation. Consumers get products that align with their values, and companies can attract those conscious consumers while reducing their environmental footprint.
Precisely, and this is where it gets really exciting, because this shift isn't limited to just packaging. The same principles apply to everything from the clothes we wear to the cars we drive.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. I've been eyeing those electric cars.
See, it's all connected. As consumers, we have the power to shape the market through our choices. Every time we choose a product made from recycled materials, opt for a reusable alternative, or support a company with transparent sustainability practices, we're sending a powerful message.
So it's not just about swapping out our plastic toothbrushes for bamboo ones.
It's about thinking bigger. It's about questioning the status quo and demanding better from the companies we support. And it's about recognizing that our individual actions, when multiplied across millions of consumers, can create a ripple effect that transforms entire industries.
That's actually a really empowering thought. It feels less daunting, knowing that even small changes in our own habits can contribute to a larger shift towards sustainability.
Exactly, and that brings us back to you, listener name. You're clearly someone who's interested in understanding these issues, in digging deeper and asking the right questions, and that kind of curiosity is exactly what we need to drive progress.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from unpacking the basics of plant fiber to exploring its potential to revolutionize industries even beyond packaging. We talked about the power of conscious consumerism, the importance of making informed choices. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want to leave our listener with today?
If you only remember one thing from our conversation today, listener name, remember this. The future of sustainability isn't something that's going to happen to us. It's something we create through our collective actions, choices, and demands.
Ooh, I love that. It's a call to action, an invitation to be part of something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. So as you go about your day, keep your eyes open for those moments where you can make a difference. It might be choosing a product with less packaging, supporting a local business with sustainable practices, or even just starting a conversation with a friend about what you learned today.
Every little bit counts. Well, listener name, this has been a truly fascinating deep dive. We've unpacked the science, explored the market trends, and even pondered the future of manufacturing.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the journey towards a more sustainable future starts with a single step. Or, in the case of plant fiber, perhaps a single cup, tube, or flower pot.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. And until next time, keep those curious minds engaged and those eco-friendly choices coming.